Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 139. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross, aka Crash and Burn Cross, from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This week, we got Tony and Rob in the house. If you haven't heard, I guess I'll make the announcement. Crash and Burn is my new nickname because I had a little bit of an accident this last weekend. And I'll get into that when we talk about what we did in guns. I'll let you guys go first. So, Rob, what did you do in guns?
Well, being that I am now back in the great state of Florida, I took the concealed carry class to get my Florida concealed carry license, which I'm going to probably wind up doing on Friday, going to the local North Carolina. They did the county. Here you do it at your tax collector's office because they're issued by the Department of Agriculture. So I'll go to the tax collector's office and spend the $80 to get my concealed carry class, which I found out after July 1st, which is Friday, the prices go down by $10 and it goes from a 5-year permit to a 7-year permit. So pure luck, cool, I'll take it.
Wow.
But
Nice.
other than that, not a whole lot.
Wow.
I know, it is just so awesome, isn't it?
Florida's so different than Jersey.
Well, Jersey, your concealed carry permit, if you can get them, is good for what, a couple weeks?
Stop. Just stop. It's like, what color is your unicorn?
I apologize for that.
Yeah, a concealed carry permit in Jersey is like asking what color is someone's unicorn. It just doesn't happen, brother. Don't even worry about it.
So what did you do, Tony?
Well, I finally got my my Glock 19 out to the range after, I don't know, it's just way too much trouble, way too long. And the thing fired really well. I'm talking rounds touching at 15 yards. So it's pretty cool.
Sweet.
It's a Glock.
Yeah, but you
You'll
know,
always shoot.
my sights were off. I got a new front sight put on. We hadn't set it up.
Oh.
Sean put them on for me, and I had to get them set up because they were shooting to the left, like 6 inches to the left.
Your
So I
sights
went
were
and-
off is why you were shooting off?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I put
Uh-huh.
it in dead center at 15 yards, resting on bag, squeeze the trigger, all rounds touching, but they're 6 inches to the left. So I took it to Gun for Hire. I was on one of the podcasts, and their gunsmith there adjusted it for me, fired a couple of rounds, made sure it was cool, and I didn't get to shoot it. So I took it to my diversity shoot, and I had someone train on it, and she was tearing up the center of the target, but me, myself, I hadn't got to put one round through it. So I hadn't gotten to put one round through it. So Wednesday I put a bunch of rounds through it, and it was right in the middle of the paper. It was awesome. So I'm going to start
Nice.
working with this damn thing again because that's what I'm taking a classes. Rob Pincus has a class coming up here end of the year, and I'll probably take my Glock 19. My CZ will be a backup, but my Glock 19 will be my main gun.
You
Nice.
won't need the CZ.
You never know. If you got a backup, take a backup to class just so you don't embarrass yourself.
I won't argue that, but I've never had a problem with my Glocks in any kind of classes I've took, so.
That's cool.
Cool. Well, if you don't want to hear everything I've done in guns in the last 2 weeks, you go ahead and hit fast forward right now, probably about 6 to 8 minutes. It was a very eventful 2 weeks because last episode, 137, I wasn't here and TJ ran it for me. He did an excellent job, by the way. Good job, buddy. Round of applause. I listened to it, and he didn't screw up too bad. And of course, you guys didn't screw up too bad either, so I appreciate you filling in for me.
Well, thank you.
So what I was doing is that we got a friend in Missoula, Montana, and he had bought some tires in Washington State online, and we picked them up for him, and we've been holding on to them, thinking he was going to come over and visit us, and he hasn't yet, and we didn't think he was going to for a while. And we haven't visited there in a long time. They're family friends that go way back. Actually, the first deer I shot he was our guide on a trip in Havre, Montana. But they live in the Missoula now, and my dad wanted to bring him some fresh fish because he's a charter boat deckhand. So we packed up the cooler with some halibut and salmon and all sorts of good fish, and we threw the tires and we took off to Montana for the pretty much 4 or 5 days straight. Before I left, I sold a 1022 barrel, and I bought a replacement. I had a Tactical Innovations 1022 barrel. It was a solid stainless steel bull barrel, and it weighed about 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds. I finally got tired of it, and I sold it to somebody for $100, and then I turned around and I bought a Tactical Solutions fluted barrel, which was like a fourth of the weight, but double the price, or double what I sold it for. So I did that, and buying gun parts. I also got a laser for my SIG P938. So I'll be reviewing both that gun next, as well as the laser the following episode. So anyway, back to the trip. We went to Montana and had a great time, and I let them shoot my SIG P938 Scorpion in their little backyard range. We went to the Cabela's over there in Missoula, and I found they had the same gun used for a very good deal, and we talked them into making even a bigger discount on it, and then we took advantage of their 4th of July, no, it was Father's Day coupons. Spend $100 and put $25 towards or get $25 off. So he got a SIG P938 for a screaming deal. So it's almost as fun as buying a new gun yourself by talking somebody else into buying a gun. It's almost as good. Not quite, but that's what we did. Then we went hunting. We basically just drove around the mountains in phosphate looking for gophers with our 1022s. I was using actually a 77-22, which is basically just a bolt action, but takes the 10-22 magazines. That thing was a laser beam. I loved it. So yeah, we shot the heck out of some gophers, and then came back with the next Tuesday. Yeah, and I went through my old stomping grounds. We went through Spokane and then to Wenatchee, and then I went to a holster shop in that area, Leavenworth, and did an interview for the network. The Gunfighter holster. I've talked about the Kenai chest holster and the Spectre over-the-shoulder holster from them. So I did a nice little interview with them, talked about some patches possibly. So that was awesome. And then came back home, and then nothing really happened. And then the next following weekend, I was supposed to go shooting on Sunday. So I had all my Tavor, my AR, my AK, everything with a new scope that needed to be sighted in. The Saturday before I went shooting, I went to a bachelor party, and we were basically just riding pit bikes, and I brought my quad, my ATV, and we're just riding around a little horse pasture. Well, about 5 laps in, I got a little crazy, and I went over an uneven jump and lost my footing on the peg, ran over my foot, and basically got a peg into my shin, and it ripped a huge hole. So I had to go to the ER and have my leg stitched up, 30 stitches total. And then 2 days after that, which would be today or yesterday, no, it was today, my dad went in for hip replacement surgery, and I was supposed to be his caretaker for the week. So I'm hopping along on one leg, trying to get it healed up, and he's hopping around on a big stainless steel spike through his femur. So it's an interesting week, that's for sure. I did get a new gun, though, at the bachelor party. Most people get STDs at bachelor parties. I actually got what I call the Colonial 1911. This isn't World War II era. This is Colonial, American Revolution era, 1911. But it's 1711. That's too early. It's a wooden toy 1911 rubber band shooter. You can see it's loaded with a rubber band. You pull the trigger, and the slide actuates. There's a kind of a flywheel on the back that shoots the rubber band. It's got my name kind of wood burned into it. It's from www.rubberbandtech.com. They send you out the kits, and you kind of glue them together yourself. So my best buddy, or one of my best buddies who's getting married, he thought this would be a pretty cool gift for his groomsman. So He also made a cool target with little like green army men hanging that you shoot and they fall over and they've got a string attached to them. But I don't want to shoot, our boy, so I'll probably paint blue helmets on them or paint them red so they're communists or something like that. So that's basically what I did in guns and what I did the last 2 weeks. So if you fast forward, you can now stop, and we will continue on with the rest of your program. So the announcements, bandwidth sponsor for this show is Patriot Patch Co. The Dangerous to Go Alone patches have dropped. They're no longer pre-orders. The chainsaw, the tactical pistol, and the shotgun patches, Dangerous to Go Alone, take this. Those are dropped. They have dropped. They are available. They are shipping. And though they are available if you wanted to pick one up, as of now, they should be in stock while supplies last. So we got those. We got the beer ones, the Pistola, and the short barrel rifle beer label parody patches. Those are available in there. We've got We the People, and then we've also got something in the works right now. It's not quite live on the website as of now, but it probably will be by the time you're hearing this or downloading this podcast. We're going to be selling some classical patch frames, and if you were at the Stone Mountain Machine Gun Shoot, you would have seen our whole patch collection, our whole catalog stuck to this kind of museum quality frame. It's got like a gilded edge with ornate filigree around it, and then it had like a red, almost felt-like backing that the hook side of the Velcro stuck to, so all of our patches were on there. Well, there's been a lot of interest, and so Jake's been pumping those things out in different color combinations. So those are available to display all your collectible patches. So we're going to have 3 different sizes available in different colors. So we got 16 by 20, and then I think 22 by 28, and I think the other one's 24 by 36, if I think I remember that right. We got a gold frame with a red backing. We've got, and then we got 3 black frames: black with black backing, black with blue backing, and black with gray backing. So those are going to be on the website here soon. They are very limited quantity because it's kind of an unusual item, and he's assembling these by hand in his little sweatshop in his basement. So very great care is taken. They've already got the mounting hardware on the back. It's very professional. So as soon as you get this thing, you just either nail it to the wall or string up some mounting wire and hang it on a nail, and then you can mount all of your awesome Patriot patches from it. So that's new there. We've also got, I think the bundles are sold out for TGC and 4Guys Guns. Head on over to the website and look under both TGC and 4Guys Guns pages to see if you haven't missed out on the patch and t-shirt combo yet. Other than that, the Patriot swag giveaway, there has been comments on the Firearms Insider reviews and the show notes on the Firearms Radio Network, so I do appreciate you guys for doing that. And I have started to select those winners. It kind of like is melding into the other giveaway I'm doing right now. So the Annihilation Inside the Waistband holsters from Patriot Concealment that I'm giving away. You guys have left a bunch of comments on that review, just like I asked you to, and I really appreciate that. In fact, Jake texted me. He's like, "Why are you getting all these comments all of a sudden?" And I was like, "Oh, because I offered to give away some holsters," and he laughed. He said, "Oh, that'll do it." So I did a random selection. Unfortunately, it seems like most of the people that commented on the review wanted the SIG P938 holster. I only have one of those, and I also have one M&P compact holster. So of the people that mentioned that they had a SIG or they wanted the SIG version, I did a random lottery, and the winner is Donald Nix with his review or his comment that he left on there. So he's getting the SIG P938. His comment was, "Wow, that was an extremely detailed and non-biased review. I carry a P938 SAS every day of my life except in work and in bed. I generally carry outside the waistband and have been looking for an inside the waistband solution. Thanks for taking the time to answer any questions I had about this holster, and really for changing the questions I asked myself before buying a holster. I would greatly benefit from winning this holster, and it would make an impact in my daily life. Yada yada yada, sucking up. And he said that the SIG P938 is literally a part of his anatomy now, and he can't always carry outside the waistband, and inside the waistband. He's basically trying to prove his case for getting the inside the waistband holster. So, coincidentally enough, he did win in that random lottery that I did. And so I will be, hopefully he contacts us, or I'll contact him, or Donald, if you're listening. Send us an email, gungearreview@gmail.com, or go to the Facebook page and message us, and we'll get that shipped to you. Now, everyone else that voted, I will be picking two, or not voted, but people that commented. I'll be picking two people, and they will win Patriot Patch swag packages, basically some patches and stuff from Patriot Patch as like a consolation prize, and I will announce those next week because I haven't done that lottery yet. So my next question is, I've got this M&P compact holster that nobody mentioned that they want one, so I didn't have a lottery to do. I didn't have any entrance in that. There was a review that just was general. Jason Morgan, he didn't say what kind of holster he was looking for. He just said he may have to give one a try. Maybe he doesn't have either guns. So basically, if you have an M&P-C and you won't like the Annihilation inside the waistband holster for it, the first person that emails me, gungearreview@gmail.com, gets it. And that should go pretty quickly. So I will be giving it away to the first person that sends that email. Hopefully they include their address too, which makes it easier for me to just ship it out. And then I'll notify everyone else that, hey, sorry, you're too late. It's already been beaten. So I'll throw that out there, guys. Not going to repeat myself on that. Let's see what else. Oh, the most important thing, and ties along with the guest that just joined this podcast unexpectedly. The June promo code for Black Bag Resources, which is ending here shortly at the end of the month, is Deflagration. That's brought to you by Sean Fisher. How's it going, buddy?
Sorry, I gotta unmute myself. I don't want to be that guy that sounds like Darth Vader breathing in the background while you're trying to talk. Hey, thanks for having me. Somebody left the gate open and I snuck in.
No sweat, man. It's good to have you on. Always fun. So with this deflagration thing, what's the deal with that, and why does it drive Tony so nuts? He's giving me the bird right now.
Yeah, that's good because he seems to forget this is all going to be on YouTube later, so everybody gets to see what a classy guy he is when I push his buttons. Tony and I teach our firearms courses together with Black Bag Resources and Simon Says Train, and one of the things I've added into the course is some of the science behind it. So deflagration is the burning of powder that produces rapidly expanding gases. That's what pushes the bullet down the barrel. That's my $20 word, and it just drives Tony up a wall. So I thought that would be a great coupon code for your show.
Awesome. So that's $10 off per order of $100 or more, and that's
Correct.
Good till the end of June.
Correct, and that's site-wide.
Yep. Awesome. So them's the announcements, and we can get straight into the product spotlight. We only have two products to talk about. I've got a pretty thorough review to talk about this week as well on a AR-15 trigger. So hopefully it should still pan out time-wise. So the first product, this is from Grey Ghost Precision from my home state of Washington. And so they've come out with what they're calling the Dagger, and it's a bolt-action rifle, but it's a pretty fancy bolt-action rifle. Chambered in 300 Blackout, everyone's new hipster cartridge, everyone's favorite hipster cartridge, both when you shoot a semi-auto AR-15 pattern rifle or a bolt-action, and you have a suppressor. It's fun times. So I don't have an MSRP on this guy yet because I haven't seen it anywhere. It's not really listed on Grey Ghost's website yet. I managed to see it at the NRA show, even though Grey Ghost did not have a booth, if you walked by the Tactical Tailor booth, the VP of they're kind of related, guy running the scenes behind the scenes. So we talked to GW there, and their Grey Ghost Precision Dagger was right there on the table. So it is a Remington 700 rifle, pattern rifle, but it's highly customized, and it's on a chassis that takes AI pattern 5.56 magazines. So that will include the AICS mags, as well as the Modular Driven Technologies polymer AI mags. And it looks like it has a folding stock, which is nice for getting it nice and compact and storing it. And it looks to be, is that a Luthor stock? Does anyone verify that for me?
It looks like one, but they never called it one.
Okay. I almost feel like I see the Luthor logo on the side of it, but it's basically a skeletonized precision stock where you can adjust the angle and the position of that butt pad. You've got a elevating cheek piece and all that jazz. The barrel looks to be as short as it can be legally, 16.5 inches or 16 inches. It does look like it has some unique flutes on it to kind of shorten down the weight. It does come with it looks like an AAC 51 tooth muzzle brake, so you can easily attach 51 tooth suppressors onto the end of it. Of course, you can change that out to whatever kind of QD amount you want. And it's shown with a low low power optic, but I'm not sure if that comes with the rifle. So, what do you guys think about this?
I wouldn't think that the optic could come with that rifle.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What I think is it looks really expensive. It has all the Mall Ninja bells and whistles. The link you gave us was to a Recoil magazine article.
Yeah.
Where their expert that they dug up was a SWAT cop from Jersey, which of course the cop came up with all kinds of reasons that you needed a bolt action 300 Blackout in an urban environment. But asking the SWAT cop whether if he really needs a new gun is like asking me, do I want to eat? The answer is going to be yes. The dude,
yes, until they say who's going to pay for it.
Oh, well, when it comes time to pay for it, all of a sudden you'll find budget ways to get around this dang rifle, like realizing all you need is an upper that takes 300 Blackout, and pretty much at 100 yards and in, you can use that on any AR, the upper on any AR to get pretty much precision shots inside of 100 yards. And the cost of this thing looks like, I mean, Ryan, you have a 300 Blackout Remington 700, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
What did that run you? That's without the chassis, right? Around what was the MSRP? Not what it ran.
It came with that Hogue stock. It was about $600, close to $700, and that's did not come with any kind of scope rail or rings. It just came with that Hogue stock that almost is by necessity needs to be replaced because it affects accuracy because it flexes when you load a bipod, and yeah, I mean, I did need to send it back to Remington for some repair. They needed to polish out the chamber. I had rounds that weren't ejecting properly, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. But they got it back to me within a month or two, and it shoots flawlessly now. So this is actually something I'm happy that I can kind of speak with a little bit more experience, saying why would you want a bolt action 300 Blackout that's short barrel. When you can have it in an AR. Well, for one, this rifle is made for someone that has a suppressor, has a 30 cal or larger suppressor, because 300 Blackout is quietest on a bolt action platform. You're not having the gas system, and you're not having the buffer, going off right by your ear. It's quieter for the shooter, and it's quieter for everyone around the shooter. Downrange performance as far as the decibels is about the same, but also, you get more precision out of a bolt action platform. Everyone should know that generally is that bolt action has a lot less moving parts. It's going to have better harmonics. It's going to be a little bit more accurate than a semi-auto. unless you've spent thousands and thousands, some thousands of dollars on a name brand semi-auto. But we're not talking about that. So I have one, and I built it for the express purpose of shooting 300 Blackout accurately, and it's phenomenal. I really enjoy it. The thing about it is you've got to understand the limitations of 300 Blackout. It's not a 1,000-yard capable round. It's 500 yards. You know, you're really going to be lobbing it in rainbow arching past 500 yards. But it does have better terminal performance as far as, I'm going to say the word everyone hates, stopping power, than 5.56. You know, when you're talking about hunting, of course, a lot of states you can't even hunt with something smaller than 24 caliber. 300 Blackout is a good intermediate game cartridge when you're not taking long shots at whitetails past 400 yards. If you're 300 yards and under, 300 Blackout is awesome. So why would you go with this build? Well, it's going to be, we don't have the price, but it's undoubtedly going to be expensive. Definitely over $1,000, without a doubt in my mind. It's fancy, it's cool, it's unique. You know, you would have to get a chassis system or get a stock, just any short action Remington 700 stock, and have it inletted for a bottom metal kit that takes AI pattern magazines. So the fact that this does this all for you, the chassis lightens the weight quite a bit than a traditional stock. You know, on mine I just used the Magpul. Of course, I'm a Magpul fanboy. Everyone knows that. So I used the Hunter 700 stock, and I'm using the Modular Driven Technologies polymer mags, and they feed reliably. I haven't had any misfeeds yet, knock on wood. So I've built a similar platform. The only thing this has that it doesn't is it doesn't have all the fancy flutes. It doesn't have a metal chassis. It doesn't have a spiraled bolt and a spiraled bolt handle, which are very sexy. I'm not sure as far as, you know, it does shave some ounces, but it's not entirely functional. But it does have a folding, you know, very precision tactical stock that you can adjust exactly for your ergonomics, and it folds over the side, so you can stuff this thing in a smaller case or bag and have it kind of as a super expensive truck gun, which is kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do all that, or you can drop like, you know, $400 and buy yourself a Ruger American Ranch in 300 Blackout with a threaded barrel for what, $400? And as far as all the other stuff, what really, listen, you want a 300 Blackout, buy a 300 Blackout. You want to spend way too much money on the 300 Blackout, buy one of these. It's all your money and whatever you want to do, but you know, Ruger American has a floated front end, free floated. It has a threaded barrel. It has a lot of other stuff. But the thing that really grinded my gears was this whole SWAT officer coming up with a reason to be using this. And that's what really they went into with this Recoil article. And I'm like, well, who is jonesing in the tactical world at this point for a bolt-action gun? And he was talking about SWAT gets within 100 yards in an urban environment, or most SWAT cops shoot within 100 yards. You have multiple suspects. You do not want to be working a bolt gun within 100 yards. You want a semi-auto. And as far as precision, you're not punching holes in paper. You're punching holes in people. So the difference between it's what, 1 MOA and 3/4 of an inch MOA? No, and more likely you shoot through a barrier.
Well, let's call it what it is. This isn't being marketed directly to law enforcement. This is a boutique gun designed for people that just have too much expendable income. They go to, you know, very expensive AR shops and drool at the $2,000 AR-15s. This is a boutique Instagram quality show rifle. Basically, it's got function, it's got purpose, but it's not a patrol weapon for law enforcement.
So what we're hearing is this is going to be in your collection by the end of the year.
You're funny and disconnected. No, like I said, I built this with a 700 myself and Magpul parts, and I'm very happy with its performance. I don't feel a desire to lighten the weight at all by switching to a chassis. If somebody handed me a chassis and said use this, I wouldn't complain. But I wouldn't be in the market, even if I didn't have it and I was still in the market shopping for one, this wouldn't be what I go to, because I'm like, man, I could probably build that or close to it. You lose a couple features, the folding AR stock, and still make it for under 1,000. Yeah, I'll take that any day.
I'd say look at the Ruger Precision, but the problem is I don't think Ruger Precision comes in 300 Blackout. So
yeah. Well, I'm interested to see hear what Sean has to say about it.
For being a boutique gun with all this fancy schmancy stuff on it, it looks an awful lot like an Archangel Mosin from ATI. So I'm kind of not impressed with the appearance.
Yeah.
For one, two, I was just at the Sussex County SWAT dinner benefit a couple weeks ago, and a lot of those guys are so even though this is supposedly a boutique gun, it's still being marketed as a law enforcement firearm, or they're trying to get the attention of that market. A lot of those guys, it's one of two things happens: either your department pays for your weapons, or in the case of Sussex County, you have to buy all your own gear. So these guys are doing fundraisers and things. In either scenario, I go, why are we spending $1,200 to $1,400 on a rifle plus the price of the optic when we can get the same performance at 100 yards to 150 yards out of an upper on your patrol carbine that's already existing? To me, it's a novelty gun, and I think it's a showpiece, and it's something cool that they put together. And I'm sure in 6 months we're going to have a 12-hour, 14-part review from Nothing Fancy on this thing. But other than that, I don't see a whole lot of traction on this.
Right. Well, I mean, I took a class a couple months ago from a guy who's been an Army sniper his whole freaking life, and he basically told me under 500 yards, he doesn't even mess with a bolt-action gun. He goes straight semi-automatic.
Yeah, you need the rapid target acquisition, because within 500 yards, targets can close in and present themselves way too quickly for you to work a bolt and get back on the eyepiece. I'm just saying.
Well, and I think Tony and I touched on this too when we were talking about this before the show. A lot of times you have to place one shot to break glass, and the second shot is to strike the target. That's a heck of a lot harder with a bolt gun than it is with a semi-auto. Again, those rapid follow-up shots become critical. And to me, to my understanding, the 300 Blackout was designed to get 30 caliber performance out of a 5.56 AR without having to change the lower, without having to change the magazine. So why are we throwing the baby away with the bathwater and starting all over with an entirely new system that kind of doesn't need to be? And Tony brought up the funny point of buying a $400 Ruger Ranch rifle. I would even go cheaper and get like a $300 single shot H&R break action. I mean, if we want to get stupid, let's get stupid. That thing's threaded too, right?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, TJ has one actually, but it's just funny to me because, again, my whole thing was not with this because, like you guys said, like we all agree, it's a boutique gun. My problem was with them going, well, this obviously is better than a 5.56 and it's better than a 308. And I'm like, a 308 is way more versatile in every aspect than a 300 Blackout if you're not using an AR-15. If you're putting in the bolt gun, why am I wasting my time with something with the limitations that a 300 Blackout has when I could use a 308 with subsonic round in it, download it, and it can be quiet or it can reach out to 1,000 yards?
Well, and not even subsonic. I mean, if they're marketing this for military and law enforcement, well, I mean, unless you're trying to, snipe within a building and not be heard out, in any of the rooms in the building, put supersonic 308 through a can and it'll be hearing safe and just fine. And it'll be a heck of a lot more accurate downrange.
Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, ultimately, only if you're hunting, like, coyotes, close range, and you want to be absolutely hearing safe and absolutely quiet so you can take down more song dogs without them all scattering after the first shot. That's basically what I see is why you'd want a bolt action. That's why I built mine. Why you'd want a bolt action 300 Blackout is just be as quiet as possible to enjoy that suppressor and really get all your money's worth out of the round.
Listen, we all need suppressors. I think we're all on board with that. But this thing, I'm not sure has a spot in my gun safe.
Yeah. All right, so kind of on the same lines, the next product has to do with barrels of rifles and cooling them down. It's called the Barrel Cool, and it is pretty much the name describes what it does. It is a chamber flag that actually sucks in air and blows it through the bore, through the chamber, out the bore, and cools down your rifle. So a lot of people that shoot from bench rest and they're doing multiple shots and they have to kind of stop shooting, go reset their targets, and let that barrel cool down, because the hotter your barrel gets, the more tendency your groups tend to spread out. This is supposedly supposed to cool down your barrel in half the time. So they did some testing. I see a chart here with a 7mm barrel, cooling it down versus just using ambient to cool it down. And it basically brought it down from 140 degrees to about 105 degrees in half the time. So 11 minutes instead of 20-something minutes. If you are shooting through a can, obviously that heat is going to accumulate a lot more as well. So this could be pertaining to the last product if you are shooting bolt action 300 Blackout, but especially Magnum calibers, even smaller calibers all across the board. If you're shooting from the bench and you've got a high round count, you're going to want your barrel to cool down. We'll save some time and shove one of these down there. What do you guys think about this product? Is it too funky, or is it kind of just what the market's been missing?
I think it's great because this will keep Tony from peeing on his rifles at the range to cool off the barrels.
Listen, winners do what winners do. Don't judge me. I saw this thing, and I went, okay, cool. That'll work out for a very, very small percentage of people that need their barrels cooled down. Most people at my range are going pew, pew, pew way too damn much at 25 yards with their ARs with a 1-to-6 scope on it. And they never get past 25 yards, so yeah, they don't really need to cool their barrel down. But every now and again, we get some of these dudes that do like 200-yard iron sight, cool down between every shot. We saw some of those guys when Sean and I competed. Yeah, they let the rifle cool down, and then they just send another round down. And when you get there, it's clover leafed at 200 with iron sights.
Wait a minute. You're saying you have your ranges longer than 25 yards in Jersey?
See, that's why you live in a hotel room, because you're evil and mean.
They put buoys out in the water and they shoot off the shore.
Well, that's illegal. You're polluting the water now. You can't do that.
We got to do something about the sharks out here. Listen.
Well, see, the thing is, we can get in the water, unlike Ryan, who's bleeding from his leg because he can't ride a bicycle. I'm going to jump a wood pile. Hold my beer.
You know me so well.
I would say that the people this would be most useful to would be those that do the long distance shooting contests, where you see them, they shoot a couple rounds and they pour water down their barrel and dunk their barrel in a freaking bucket of cold water or something to cool it back down.
Bench rest shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that,
especially if you're shooting a caliber that's a known barrel burner, something like 6.5, that's extremely hot. Even some guys that load 22-250, and they're pushing 38, 4,000 feet per second. If you're hand loading or you're just shooting a wildcat, that's gonna erode your barrel. This could kind of help prolong your barrel's life by cooling it down in between shots at the range.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the cooler things I saw was, 204 Ruger. Those things shoot like lightweight bullets, but at like 4,000 feet per second through an AR. That just seems so
nice.
Cool.
It functions as a chamber flag, and a lot of ranges, mandate that you use a chamber flag to indicate and show clear while you're cold and going down range. So if you're going to put a chamber flag in there anyway, you might as well have that chamber flag serve a dual purpose by blowing some cold air down your bore. And so by the time you get back from changing your targets, you don't have to wait and BS any longer. Your bore should be back down to cooler, acceptable temperature levels, and then keep shooting. So it's compatible with bolt actions as well as AR platforms. Somebody posted on the show notes, could you put this inside your suppressor and turn it on and cool down the baffles inside your suppressor? I don't see why not. I mean, I'm wondering if whatever this is made out of, if it's exposed to extremely high temperatures, will it start to melt? The outer shell. That's a good question to ask.
I mean, you could.
The batteries, it runs on 3 CR123A batteries for 7 to 10 hours, continual. So, that's not bad. If you leave it in there for about 10 minutes, it's actually less than 10 minutes. It's supposed to cool it down. I'd probably leave it in there for about 10 minutes, but it basically cuts your cooling down time in half. And the MSRP is only $35, so that's expensive for a chamber flag. But I think if someone like Caldwell came out with this, it'd be selling like hotcakes. So I'm glad somebody jumped on that first. What's that?
It'd be $12 and run off 2 AAA batteries too.
Yeah.
If Caldwell did it, so maybe we'll see the knockoff from them in a couple of months. But yeah, niche market, but not ridiculously priced for that market. If these guys are spending the kind of money they spend on their kit for extreme precision, I don't see why they wouldn't part with something to increase the range time, efficiency.
And Tony can put it in his glass of chocolate milk, and it'll be blowing bubbles.
See, that's why you don't even understand me. One, it's not chocolate milk. It's
strawberry
Yahoo.
quick.
It's Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo?
Yoo-hoo, yeah. Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, does anyone else have anything else to say on that before we move on? We're all good?
We're all good.
Cool. Next, I will get into my review. So the Wisconsin Trigger Company must have heard my plea for an aftermarket trigger for my AR-15. So they had contacted me, reached out, and they wanted me to test out their MK2A2. I know that's confusing. Trigger. It's a adjustable 2-stage trigger. So MK, it does not stand for Mark. It's Milazzo Krieger, and this guy with the last name of Milazzo kind of invented it. I'm not sure, I haven't read up where Krieger comes from, but basically that's the designation of the trigger. So it is the first patented 2-stage match trigger for the AR-15 platform. It was being made in large and small pin models, and almost exclusively used in all the rifles competing in the U.S. Army Marksmanship Unit at Camp Perry, setting numerous world records. So let's see, that was in 1994, and about the mid-1990s, production halted. I'm not sure why. But the Wisconsin Trigger Company picked it back up, got the patents, and they've been 25 years after its release and its popularity, they've brought it back to the market. So the new MK2A2 is the Gen 2 version of the MK2. And this has some distinct advantages over the original, but it's still made on some of the same tooling and equipment as the originals. So, getting into my review, basically you install this into your AR-15. It comes with a pretty concise instruction booklet. Comes with a bunch of stickers and magnets, all sorts of swag with their logo on it. Here's a picture of their logo, basically the state of Wisconsin with a 2-stage trigger overlapping it. Very creative. Sorry, that was kind of condescending. So that was my graphic designer coming out. But basically, you would remove your grip. You got to remove your pistol grip because you got to pull out your safety selector. Then you can insert the trigger. They do supply you with trigger and hammer pins, and they were a very good tight fit. So I have to commend them on that. I wasn't worried about them having to replace them with an anti-walk pin kit in the future. So you install your trigger, you can reinstall your safety selector at that point and tighten down your pistol grip. And then you install your hammer just like you would any other AR-15 trigger. I had Rock River Arms 2-stage triggers in both of my AR-15 rifles. That was my favorite trigger up to this point. Performs a lot in the same way. If you're not familiar, I'll let you know what a 2-stage trigger is. The difference between a 2-stage and a single stage trigger is just like any other trigger, from a Daisy BB gun to any other of your favorite rifles. You basically have you're pulling until you reach the break, and the sear releases the hammer and it slams into the firing pin and the gun goes boom. A 2-stage trigger has a wall. So the first stage is that first pull until it meets that wall. It comes to a stop and a rest. At that point, you can focus on your target, concentrate on your breathing, and then it should require just a little bit more pressure, and then it'll break and the round will go boom. So 2-stage triggers are very popular because it's a way of kind of staging your next shot. And you can take advantage of the reset, and then you're not spending as much time going all the way out with your forward travel and then all the way back with your trigger pull. So 2-stage triggers are pretty nice. They work great for precision long range, nice accurate shots. They work really well for fast shots close up. So this trigger is kind of built for people that are competing. It works great for recreation as well. The redesigned disc connector gives it a fast hammer reset. The forward trigger over travel allows the trigger to move forward after the hammer reset, maintaining spring pressure on the operator's finger, and thus reducing what they call trigger slap during high-speed follow-up shots. So basically, when you're squeezing the trigger as fast as you can, you tend to slap the trigger. Your finger kind of comes off of the blade and then comes back on it in as fast as you can. You're not paying attention and you're kind of slapping it. The way this is designed is to reduce that trigger slap and thus be a little bit more accurate. So getting into my review, I installed this on my rifle. I intended to take this to the range and take pictures, but I screwed up big, and that kind of screwed up my plans for going to the range the following day. So I started to take it to the range and take some good things, and there's an update to do after that.
Hey Ryan, I think you're cutting out.
You can move down with
Hey Ryan, we're losing you. You're straight roboting right now. You sound like R2D2 making a 3D triple X phone call.
And we lost Ryan.
Yep, he's locked up. He's gone bye-bye. All right, so here's the condensed version of his his review. Hey, I got a trigger. It goes pew-pew. I like it a lot. Send me more free stuff. Got a T-shirt?
Or get a patch.
Get a patch? Magpul make a trigger yet? If Magpul make a trigger, I want a free one. Give me a free. Hey, send one to my fat black friend in Jersey, too. He wants one. Free. This is Ryan.
If Magpul made a trigger, he'd buy the trigger. You wouldn't. Big different free stuff. He'd be like, give me trigger, give me the trigger.
Give me the trigger. I loves Magpul. Hello, Mr. Fitzgerald. This is your biggest fan. I know the restraining order you have said I can't call you, but I'm using Skype. It don't count.
I'm the water boy.
I love you, Mr. Fitzgerald. I'm going to name my first baby Magpul.
He's going to name his first baby Mag, middle name Pull.
And under race, I'm going to put Flat Dark Earth. Oh, God. Hey, listen, now, my name is Tony, and this is probably the last time I'll be on the show because Ryan is not going to invite me back, so I'm going to have the most fun I have while Peg Leg is off air. Uh-oh. 3 messages from Ryan Cross. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, cool. Now I feel horrible. So what he's going to do is he's going to try to log off, come back on, and I'm to talk about the Second is for Everyone Diversity Shoot being held on August 11th at 6 p.m. at Woodland Park Range. We're going to have more swag than before. We're going to have cool stuff. We're going to have Black Bag Resources there, being my hype man, as usual.
Yeah, boy!
Hey, boy, weren't you just talking about Ryan begging for free stuff?
Yes. That was Ryan
You're
begging.
not a swag whore?
That's Ryan begging. This is totally different. This is me. Now, hush your mouth. Your elders is talking.
Shut up.
No, you roll.
That was just you're saying, shut up.
Shut up.
Rob, you got to understand, East Coast mooching is totally different from West Coast.
Dude, I
mooching.
am on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, then you better get to mooching. You need to get your mooch game up, son.
Hey, if anybody send me some free stuff, I promise you I test it out.
I'm going to send you a pair of socks.
Bad review.
Yeah, you're horrible at this. All right. Anyway, August 11th, 6 p.m., Gun for Hire Range. And if you want to check out some of the cool stuff, what I'll be doing is posting it on my Instagram and my Facebook pages. Instagram page is Simon Says Train. Facebook page is Simon Says Train. Or the Second is for Everyone if you want to check it out and show your friends. If you live in Jersey, come out. It's going to be fun. We're going to have Second Amendment groups come out and actually speak to people, let you know if you have any questions. Hopefully, the NRA ILA guy, Christian, he'll be out. He's a really nice guy. He was busy this last event and couldn't make it, but he's made most of our previous ones. So if you have any questions for the NRA ILA of what are they doing for Jersey, well, they'll be there. We have the second New Jersey, what's the conference called? NJ SafeCon? Second Amendment Firearms
NJ
Education.
SafeCon coming up.
Yeah, NJ SafeCon is coming up on the 30th of July, which is going to be a Second Amendment conference in New Jersey. They put together, this is the second one ever, so come out. It's going to be in the Parsippany Hilton. Look that up. If not, I'll put it on my page so you guys can see it. Other than that, that's all I have to say about that. Sean, why don't you talk about your black bag and your deflagration code?
Deflagration is your coupon code for listeners of the Guns and Gear Review podcast program. Get you 10% off at blackbagresources.com on any order $100 or more. Coupon is good site-wide. If you got really clever, you might find something that's not normally discounted that you can get a discount on using that coupon code. But I can't advertise that discount because that would violate certain policies and get me in lots of trouble. But, you know, I do what I want. I don't know if Tony mentioned, but we'll be at the Second is for Everyone in August. I will also be at NJ SafeCon. I got my tickets already. If you haven't gotten tickets for that, do it now. It's probably the biggest event of the year in the 2A community in New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I would venture to say the tri-state.